Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. All right. We got a good show planned for you tonight. Don't know if you already had a chance to learn get well soon to Jaden Daniels. His injury was gruesome. Wanted to touch on that tonight. Interesting comments from the head coach when he was interviewed about why Jaden Daniels was still in the game. And I have said to y'all that Jaden Daniels' career, as well as CJ Stroud's and some of the other players like Justin Fields, Cam Ward, are cautionary tales for Shedeur Sanders. I checked again, and it seems that Cam Ward is still the most sacked quarterback with either 34 or 38 sacks up to this point. I don't think we understand with what we see happening with CJ Stroud, Jaden Daniels, and Cam could also be happening to Shedeur. And we all are anxiously awaiting for him to get in the game. But Kevin Stefanski came out and said that Shedeur isn't ready yet. In other words, his back injury is still, under treatment, and he's getting better. So essentially, if you haven't heard, Kevin Stefanski is turning over the reins, the headset, if you will, the play calling duties to Tommy Rees, who is the offensive coordinator. Now, a lot of people are excited about that, and I'm not. Why? Because last year at this almost exact time, Kevin Stefanski turned over play calling duties to whoever the OC was at the time, and they went 3-14. Kevin Stefanski took this team to 2-6 this year, and he's turning over the headset. So, which means he'll be there next year, right? So, I don't really see it as a bonus, because my question is, if Kevin Stefanski is still the head coach designing the game plan, is he still essentially going to choose the plays that Tommy Rees calls for Shedeur? I don't see it as a bonus for Shedeur. I see it as a way for Kevin Stefanski not to be accountable for what happens at the end of the season. I see it as a way for Kevin Stefanski to escape accountability if Shedeur gets out there and, one, get hurt, two, get sacked, excessively like Cam. So, or laid out like CJ Stroud, right? Or scapegoat like what is it? Justin Fields. I see this move as a way to save Kevin Stefanski's job by the team continuing to lose. They're 2-6. They're already out of playoff contention, right? They're still rolling with Dylan through the Jets when they play the Jets. They still rolling with Dylan. Stefanski says Shedeur, his back is not 100% ready yet to go, but he's getting better. He could say that for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 games, right? They could use that as an excuse to never play him and just use it to devalue him and either keep him on the bench next year like they did Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and practically don't use him at all, and then just whisk him away to somebody else who just gonna waive him. So all I see from Kevin Stefanski not calling the plays, something he's done before, but had the opportunity to come back and still sink the team, it's just prolonged Kevin Stefanski's career. Because now, if Dylan gets out there with Tommy Rees calling the plays, it ain't gonna be on Stefanski. It's gonna be on Dylan, because nobody's gonna blame Tommy Rees because he new to the situation, right? So remember, we talked about Dylan and his fiance having dinner, a brunch, a lunch, somewhere out there in the area with Stefanski and his wife, and we were like, I said maybe that's a heads up to Dylan that, hey, we gonna trade you. No, that's a heads up to, hey, you're still the guy, but Tommy Rees is gonna take over the play calling. Now, what does that do for Stefanski? It absolves Stefanski from Dylan not being good, right? Because technically, Stefanski didn't pick Dylan. People think the GM did. We know Stefanski picked Dylan. We know Stefanski usurped Andrew Berry and picked Dylan. But he's not going to get the blame for that. Andrew Berry's going to get the blame for that, right? Tommy not going to get the blame for Dylan looking bad, but neither will Stefanski, because guess what? I turned over the headset. So I've done all I can do. I've taken Dylan out to dinner and gave him a heads up. You still my guy, but I'm turning you over to Tommy Rees. So if you go out here and Rees loses to the Jets, it's okay. Because, we doing the best we can with this guy that we picked number 3 ahead of this guy that we picked number 5, who's not ready because he got a back injury. It's just an out for Kevin Stefanski, because if it mattered, he wouldn't have been there this year. He turned over his headset after Deshaun Watson got injured. So Deshaun Watson gets injured. Now he turns over the headset. So here's what people are saying on X. Well, Stefanski was brought in to be this big offensive guru. If he isn't calling the plays, then what is the point of him being the head coach? I said, to hinder select QBs' careers. Deshaun Watson ran off Baker Mayfield, holding back Shedeur, propping up Dylan, running off Flacco. Kevin Stefanski's job is to control the quarterbacks and who succeeds and who gets booted out. That's it. There's no other reason. He's one of the lowest paid coaches out there. They're not paying him to win. When you look at the coaches that make double-digit millions, Kevin Stefanski ain't on that list. He ain't even near 10. He's not even 9, 6, 7, 5, 4. He's 3, 3.5 maybe. He's not even paid to win. He's paid to just keep some activity happening on the field so y'all can watch it on TV and they can continue to get a $400 million check from the NFL. That's what his job is. That's his job, to control the chaos on the field so you'll watch it. You talking about people that own the Browns that also have 3,400 wells filled with natural gas. This is a hobby. It's not serious. It's very unserious. When you have your head coach, one of the lowest in the league, he's not good. All he's good for is being a servant leader. You're not trying to win football games. Not with the crew that you have. But now you see an opening because things are changing. You see an opening to not give a damn about social justice movements, to not give a damn about talent, to go ahead and move forward and bring in whoever it is you went down there to see at Ohio State versus UT. Because it don't matter if he good or not no more. Nobody else damn near is. People just pointed out today, how the hell is it that Josh Allen is a nod for the MVP over Jalen Hurts? He don't even have the numbers. Just like Dylan didn't have the numbers over Shedeur for the Heisman. Did it matter? No. Because this is the climate we are in. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. And it's rigged against Shedeur. It's rigged against Jada Daniels. Jada Daniels suffered a gruesome injury, and everybody wanted to know why the hell was their star quarterback, who just came back from being hurt, in the game when they were down by 2 or 3 touchdowns. It was unwinnable. Not only was he in the game, he ended up getting injured and falling on his elbow, that his elbow protruded through his arm, the bone. He's out indefinitely. Well, that was the plan, wasn't it? I told y'all they was going to hurt him to get him out of here. They was going to sack him excessively. They was going to do to Jaden Daniels what they did to CJ Stroud, and they already started the narrative, and now he gone. And what's crazy is not a week or 2 ago, his mom called them out for trying to start this narrative comparing her son to RG3. Guess what they did on the news after his injury? Well, you know, another Washington quarterback that we had, blah, 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 RG3. Some people say it's her fault. I'm like, that's just as ridiculous as it is to say it's Carucci's fault that Colorado is allowing Pat Schumer to tear down the team. Carucci ain't wearing no helmet and ain't out there running no routes. That ain't on her, and it ain't on Jaden Daniels' mom. She was right to say, stop comparing my son and putting that negativity on him. And then look what go out here. You know what his coach said? When they asked the coach, why was he still out there? Because he's too valuable to the team. Well, I mean, the play that we called was designed to be like a run play. It wasn't to call for him to scramble. So basically, you're saying he scrambled and it's his fault. This is why Shedeur don't need to be no hero to these people. Because he just going to get hurt and they just going to laugh. They don't care. They didn't want the Washington Commanders to repeat their performance last year. They don't want the Baltimore Ravens to ever get there. But it's okay for Josh Allen to not even have the stats to be considered an MVP. Once again, total disrespect to Jalen Hurts. So to me, you tell me what y'all think, because I asked the question, how do y'all feel that they're giving Tommy Rees the opportunity to call plays like they did whoever the OC was last year? I tell you what I care about. I care about why, if they brought in Tommy Rees from the University of Alabama to be their OC, and that's what he was at Alabama, why is it that if the Browns interviewed Jalen Milroe, Cam Ward, and Shedeur Sanders, but Tommy Rees is their OC and he was Jalen Hurts' OC, why didn't they get Jalen Hurts to be a quarterback? So see, they didn't just get Dylan over Shedeur. They got Dylan over Jalen Hurts, Jalen Milroe as well. So just in case I messed that up, Tommy Rees was Jalen Milroe's offensive coordinator. Hell, he might have been Jalen Hurts too. I don't know. But that was Jalen Milroe's, I think, his OC at Alabama. The Browns interviewed during the pre-draft process Jalen Milroe. So they passed on Milroe, they passed on Cam Ward, and they passed on Shedeur to get Dylan and Flacco and Pickett. I don't think Haslam wanted to get any of those black quarterbacks. And I think the only reason he's happy about the number one pick this year, when they could have had it last year, Tennessee didn't want it. The Browns could have got it. The number one pick last year was a hot potato because nobody wanted it, because everybody wanted to wait until this year because they knew football would be manipulated instead of 3 black quarterbacks coming out in the first round due to athleticism and talent and skill, competitiveness. There are no black quarterbacks in the top 5 right now coming out of college. Probably the first time since, I don't know, Heck was a puppy. That's what they all waiting on. We want to get a white quarterback. They don't care if he's talented or not. Not a coincidence that Jaden was hurt the first time he was hurt. I am shocked that he was left out there when the game was unwinnable, just like I'm shocked that Juju was out there when the game was unwinnable. So this is a good pivot to Colorado. Colorado posted a photo with Julian Lewis, looked like he was snapping the ball, and in the distance you could see number 3, Caden, and the caption read, "Eyes forward." Now, people believe that means Colorado gonna move forward with Juju. So that means Colorado is making a change. So Cleveland, who I've often said that Stefanski's offense is running through the Colorado Buffaloes by way of Stefanski, Cleveland has decided once again at a very convenient moment when the season is out of reach to win it and continue on, for Stefanski to give up the play calling, because there's nothing left for me to control because I did enough damage. So here you go, Tommy. Call the plays that I'm going to draft up for you. It's optics. So now maybe Colorado really believes, let's go forward with Juju, with Caden as the QB2, because I don't know why you'd have him in picture if he ain't the QB2. And I'm like, okay, who calling the plays? Just like in Cleveland, if Stefanski is still the head coach, Tommy Rees calling the plays is calling Stefanski's game plan that's likely for Dylan. And Stefanski don't just get no more blame. But Stefanski knows what Dylan is capable of. But I'm going to give it to Tommy Rees so y'all can stop blaming me. Did the same thing last year. You see, he still got a job, and he going to have a job next year. Because if the Manning kid not coming out of college, ain't no point in me getting rid of Stefanski. The Mannings didn't come to me and tell me to get rid of him this year to get ready for Arch Manning, because he ain't coming out this year. That's why there's no more talk about it. If so, it'll be a surprise, and then maybe they'll boot Stefanski out. It's because they're 2, what are they, 2-7? 2-6? The point is, they get ready to hit game 10. They don't play 20 games. They play 18. So they're already at the halfway mark. So with Tommy Rees calling the plays for Dylan and Shedeur, we don't know when he going to be ready. Maybe we got to put Bailey Zappi out here and he gets about 2 games. Maybe Shedeur get 2 games instead of 4, and they're gonna blame it on his back. I told you that was gonna happen. They was gonna exploit that. Then again, he might not get none. The goal is not for Shedeur to go out here and be explosive. The goal is not for Jaden Daniels to run it back again. The goal wasn't for CJ Stroud to run it back his sophomore year. Jaden Daniels' sophomore year is CJ Stroud's sophomore year. I said that. I don't think anybody expected his arm to come through, his elbow to come through his arm, but it did. Not saying they anticipated that, but dude, I believe that they intentionally held him down, set him up. Absolutely. Do I believe they would do the same to Shedeur? Yep. Here's the question, though, about Colorado. What are they expecting to happen if Pat Schumer is still calling the plays and Juju is the quarterback? Is this happening because there was talk that Juju might be leaving? So this helps to keep Juju on the ground in Colorado? Because Caden's career is basically what it is. At the hands of Pat Schumer. Pat Schumer just essentially pulled a Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland. So is Pat Schumer going to voluntarily give up the headset for these last 3 games now that the damage is done? They can't go to a bowl game? Oh, wait, maybe they can. So he going to stay there for another 1 or 2 games and give it up at the end when the damage is done? Because I don't understand, what are we hoping for if Juju is the quarterback and Pat Schumer is still the play caller? Last I recall, Pat Schumer was only fond of the quarterback that played at the number 2 last week, Ryan Staub. And I ain't heard his name, and I didn't see him in the picture. So what are we really hoping for with Juju? Oh, I know what people think. People think Juju going to be like Shedeur, since he don't have a sleeve, and call his own plays against Pat Schumer. That's what we think. See, when people start talking about there are no alphas on this team, you want people to be like you. And that's exactly what they don't want to be. They want to go to a team where there's accountability. Who said there was no accountability? Remember when we played Wyoming? One of the coaches that used to coach for Colorado said there's no glitz and glamour, and there is accountability over here. And now we see it unfolding. There's no accountability. Somebody want to go back and forth with me on X saying that Coach Prime just not saying what's really happening. I'm like, I don't give a damn what he's saying and what he ain't saying. If the mafia ain't after him, then he might want to let the fans, the parents of the players and the fans know what to expect, because that's what leaders do. People trying to defend the indefensible is not helping this situation. Change it to Juju if Pat Schumer still wanted to be stopped, and last week he did, ain't going to help this situation. It's going to help Juju get hurt like Jaden Daniels, or help his career be toast before it gets off the ground like Kaden Salter. We saw Juju to come out there and spark it up and throw one pass. You saw the same thing with Ryan Staub in that Delaware game. And then what did you see at U of H? Disaster. The kid left the game with a 53 passer rating. So why we just going to throw him out here now? Why is the change to Juju and not away from Pat Schumer? That's what it should be. That's exactly what it should be. And then over here in Cleveland, it ain't really helpful that Kevin Stefanski, who's the head coach, isn't calling plays because it's his game plan. That's a ruse. That's optics. Don't be surprised if the Jets-Browns game is rigged to make Dillon look decent under Tommy Rees. But then y'all just going to blame Stefanski, but he ain't going nowhere. He took them down to 3-14, turned his headset over after Deshaun got hurt, and got it back, and took this team down this year to 2-6. And guess what he going to do next year? The same damn thing. Until they get the quarterback they want. And apparently he ain't coming out of school yet. Unless it's Justin or Julian Sayin at Ohio State. But they don't want a black quarterback. There's no coincidences. That's what's going on with these programs. It's all of the finagling, but not the real accountability. Stefanski and Schumer are the problems at Cleveland and Colorado, respectively. and they still are able to be dangerous, get these quarterbacks hurt up in their careers, sabotage them, and neither one of them are being held accountable. It's optics in Cleveland. And I don't know what the hell they think they're doing in Colorado. Because if you believed in Juju, he would have been out there. The kid left the game with her hand and a 53% passer rating. What are y'all expecting for real? So I want to see what y'all are saying, because maybe y'all have a different perspective than I do, right? I'm looking for accountability. I'm looking for accountability in Cleveland. I'm looking for accountability in Colorado. And the person that can give me accountability in Colorado, I believe, is Coach Prime. And while I don't have a problem with Juju getting out there playing, I have a problem with Pat Schumer still calling the plays. And I know in Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski is the problem, but I know his boss is hiding behind him. It said Kevin Stefanski has gin up play calling. That should help Shedeur when he plays. Okay. That's if he play. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I was wondering, did Tommy Rees call that Carolina game and Stefanski called the Rams game because he was jealous Shedeur showed out and upstaged Dylan? Or did 12 call the Carolina game? I don't know who called the Carolina game. All I remember, if you go over to the video, it has like over 600,000 views, where Shedeur was mic'd up in that game. I think it was the Carolina game. He was sat down and he was talking to somebody, and I don't think it was Tommy Rees. I don't know who it was. I thought he had a little cute curly blonde hair, and he looked like a younger guy, and he was just talking to him and said, I want a deep ball. The next thing you know, he did get a deep ball. In the beginning of the game, Shedeur on a 4th-and-1 play, it should have been a run play, and Stefanski was trying to up the field, and that didn't make no sense, right? After Shedeur got away from all of that, after he was able to overcome, he got sacked once, and he quickly realized, oh, this is just like Colorado. Then he got away from it. Once or twice, but he got away from it. And after that, it was just all football. And he did show out, but Kevin Stefanski made it a point to not give a damn about it. And then what did he say before the Rams game? We have to put him down. Then what happened? He got sacked 5 times, so that's what he meant. Don't know if he gonna ever be stupid and say that again, but if he says it again before one of these 4 games, then you know what he's talking about. But what did he say today? That Shedeur's back is it's getting better. So we're not seeing Shedeur for this game. I just want to know how many times he going to use that excuse to say Shedeur's not ready yet, because according to Shedeur, it wasn't him that took himself out of the last game. It was Stefanski didn't think he was ready. Once again, Stefanski doesn't think he's ready. Let's see if he's ready after the Jets game. I told y'all they was going to exploit that back injury. Hey, Valerie, how you doing? It say, I agree, Stefanski need to be fired. Right. I mean, you want the problem to go away, but you want to keep the problem there and let him make the game plan. Basically, hand deliver the plays that Tommy Rees can pull from. That's optics. That's playing with your intelligence. And the fans from the Browns, if I know this, then I don't know how the Browns fans are talking about this as if they don't know that he did the same thing last year. He turned over his headset last year, and he still was allowed to take them down 2-6 or 2-6 or whatever it is. And he's going to be allowed to do it next year if that's what they want to do. So when he took Dylan to dinner with his fiance and his wife, it was to tell Dylan, we switching over to Tommy Rees. And the fact that they did it at the exact same time last year lets you know they playing in Dylan phase 2. This is a way for Kevin Stefanski to step back so he's not accountable for Dylan being for failing. Which means they just using him as a pawn. Because they did the same thing at the same time period last year. It said, did you see Jaden Daniels? Yeah, I saw that. Jaden Daniels. Yes, I saw that. And I don't know what it's going to take for these black quarterbacks to start talking to each other so that they can understand they're all in the same position. Whether it's Jalen Hurts, Jalen Muro, Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields, CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams. They want y'all gone. Shedeur Sanders, they don't even want to let him in. You know why? Because they want the rest of them gone. What would I let him in for if I'm trying to get rid of Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud? They trying to get rid of all of those quarterbacks that have come up from 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Next year, it's going to be Cam Ward. Watch what I tell you. I told you when it was after CJ Stroud, I said what they were doing to him. I said one of the guys went over to Washington. They're going to do it to Jaden Daniels. Watch one of the people from Washington end up in Tennessee, and it's going to happen to Cam Ward. They want these black elite quarterbacks gone. So why am I going to let Shedeur in? I think he's going to get cut. People just don't want to admit what's really going on. They want to sit up and hope every week. I'm like, hell no, this is happening to every last one of them. To all the 16 to 32, every last one. Now Jordan Love is trash. I'm like, well, damn, that changed fast. As soon as Aaron Rodgers said he want to retire in Green Bay, Jordan Love becomes trash. Never mind you, he got a damn good quarterback over there at his QB too. That ain't gonna never get the opportunity. They playing with every last one of these guys. They all just handle it differently. Russ is like, whatever, I'm on my way out. Jalen Hurts ain't worried about it because he know when he already probably got a date in mind that his career is over. CJ Stroud put it out there. He said, I'm just not as fast as I used to be. That sounds like, I don't need to extend my contract. When these guys decide, I don't want it, rather than we kicking you out, things will change. But right now, these guys have gotten to a place historically black quarterbacks have never been. And NFL is just like, get out, get out. They just, something about number 17 just scares the hell out of them. I guess they feel like if they hit 17, ain't no turning back. And from here on out, it's just going to be black quarterback versus black quarterback. Cam Newton already said it out loud. The majority, the white quarterbacks are the minority. So they fixing it over there in college. And what happened at Colorado is a part of that. What happened to Lenore Sellers is a part of that. Thomas Castellanos is a part of that. Dante Moore will be a part of that. I mean, I don't like to tell people what to do. But if you don't want me, cool. I'm going to let you have whatever it is you think you want. Because what they are trying to do, I don't know who they expect to hold down these teams. You see what happened in New York. They were celebrating. Did they talk about New York losing again? You don't really hear about it, do you? See, I knew once Malik Neighbors went out, I knew that was going to be a problem. Then they put everything on Cam Scatterboo back, and now he out. New York getting all kind of karma. Know how at first they was talking about New York, blah, 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 blah. You don't hear nothing because it ain't working out like they thought. They knew Jackson Dart had to be propped up with Cam Scatterboo. And I told y'all, I said, Cam Scatterboo is the star of that team. And then he get injured. And they crickets. Because they lying. They just need Jackson Dart to come out here and ball out before Shedeur ever take the field. But they ain't got to let Shedeur play like people say they do. Kevin Stefanski has sold the same lie in 2 weeks. His back is getting better. How long he gonna keep saying it? That's what you need to look for now, because he done told that lie in 2 weeks. We see Shedeur is okay. We know. So what that means is he's gonna tell that lie until they get to the last 4 games, or is it because they've announced that he's going to play the last 4 games, and then now the back injury comes up? I'm going to use that as an excuse that he can't play. And I'm going to use that to, 1, either cut him, or 2, to devalue him and keep him on my bench, or 3, devalue him and send him as a QB3 to somebody else. People sitting up expecting fair game out of Cleveland where Shedeur is concerned. They're not paying attention. It ain't happening. I wouldn't be surprised if he just get flat out cut. I wanted to see him play. But from what I see in Cleveland, it's just theatrics. And they still protecting Stefanski when they should be holding Stefanski accountable, which means Stefanski is doing what he was hired to do for $3 million. And it ain't win football games. It's control who the quarterback is and their careers. That's it. That's it. People want to believe that this sport is competitive. Maybe by next year they'll see it. Maybe by next year they'll see it. Saints fans decided, even when they put in Tyler Shaw, they get all gussied up and dressed up, expecting what? You saw Tyler Shaw. Why would he be any different? He was the 8th ranked quarterback. Why would he be any different? Why would Dylan be any different under Tommy Rees? This is just a way for Stefanski to not be accountable, just like last year. And was Tommy Rees the OC last year, or did they get rid of that OC instead of getting rid of Stefanski? Why they didn't get Tommy Rees's quarterback from Alabama, Jalen Milroe? Why they ain't draft him? Because he's black. He's also brown skin. That's what's wrong with them. And now they coming for Pat Mahomes. They coming for Jordan Love. They coming for Dak Prescott. Because to be half, it ain't enough no more. They don't want none. I told you they believe in the one drop rule. That's how they get down. Roland Martin just put it out there as to who they are, who they support, who they align with. And because of what you see in the broader society, whether it's corporate America, whether it's people working in the public sector, the same thing is happening in the NFL. This is my opportunity to get rid of black people in leadership positions, whether it's GM, head coach, OC, quarterback coach, or quarterback. Because what do we know? How important the quarterback position is on the team. And they made it to 16, and now they have license because they have protection to not give a damn. I ain't worried about no lawsuit. That's why any lawsuit out there just better drag out for years until they get to a place where accountability exists again, because it doesn't. So I hate what happened to Jaden Daniels, but I called it. Like I said, I didn't know it was going to be his elbow. I just thought they was going to sack him excessively and eventually he'd just get hurt and that be it. CJ Stroud's still playing. They still knocking him out. They keep getting back up. They just going to keep knocking him down. The long-term impact with these guys getting hit like this, I don't know. I don't know what their futures are going to look like. I don't even think it's worth it. What did I say when Lamar Jackson got hurt? Sit down. Don't be out there trying to come back. Just sit down. And then he come back and the league fined the Ravens $100,000 because they mistakenly put his practice status because people didn't think he was coming back, apparently. What is that to fine somebody over if you think it's a mistake? And if it wasn't a mistake, why did they have to do it that way to get Lamar Jackson back out there? Why did they have to trick the NFL for Lamar Jackson to get back out there? Now they're like, oh, I think Lamar Jackson, they might win it. They don't want that. They don't want him to win. That should have been obvious to you last year. They don't want Jaden Daniels to get back. They don't want CJ Stroud to get back. CJ Stroud put that team on his back as a rookie. They don't want that. People in Carolina calling for Herndon, who was over in Detroit, but is on Carolina's team. They want him to start over Bryce Young, but I thought they just won, so I don't know, right? Fans looking at competition and who can help us win. Some people betting they don't care who win, I guess. I don't know. And then there's people like me. There's a lot of people like me that's looking at this going, this all just bullshit. I don't know what y'all really seeing here, but this all rigged. I'm like, ain't none of it real. To say that Josh Allen is in the MVP, how did he get there? He don't even have the numbers, and they don't even care that he don't have the numbers. But you know what? They succeeded at snatching Lamar Jackson third MVP. What did I say yesterday? When you allow people to bully you, that's just what they're going to do. And these black quarterbacks are being bullied out here. And they need to talk to each other. They need to come up with a game plan to survive this without getting sacked excessively, to either get to the end of your contract and get the hell on. But allowing them, because you young, to inflict this damage upon your body that you ain't gonna feel while you young. But ain't no way when you get older, your body gonna be okay with being sacked 32, 42, 62, 52, 72 times. And the only reason it hasn't happened to Shedeur is because they won't let him on the field. But when they do, you'd be crazy to sit up and think that he will be different from Cam. He will be different from Jaden. He will be different from CJ. He will be different from Justin. No, he's a black quarterback, regardless of his last name. That don't even matter at this point. And the same play is happening under Pat Schumer at Colorado. See, that's what Colorado gives up by keeping Pat Schumer. He brings over that NFL ideology from an offensive coordinator where there was none, no black ones right now. He comes from a head coaching time where they didn't want no black head coaches. And he's bringing over that same ideology, talking about he liked Ryan Staub and how he thinks like a quarterback. He didn't say that about Juju. So I have no faith that he's going to be fair with Juju. I think he's going to call plays, whatever play it is they call, that the right tackle let Juju get sacked. That's exactly what I think. You can look for it. I can throw out some damn jersey numbers if you want. Because it keeps happening. And for people to expect Juju to turn into Shedeur and veto Pat Schumer to make it is total insanity, because I'm sure Juju has NFL aspirations. And do you see what's happening to Shedeur because he called his own plays at Colorado? It's ridiculous to ask anybody, including Shedeur, to have to do that when Schumer should have just been fired. If we know that this was the case, and Shedeur had to cape up and be Superman last year, why the hell is Pat Schumer still working there? That's really the conversation. Not switching to Juju under Pat Schumer, who likes Ryan Staub. That's just setting Juju up to get hurt. We'll see. That's one thing about it. Saturday coming. I pray for that kid. I don't know how it could work out, but I don't know why people expecting anything different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting something different. I don't know why we switch to Juju and we still keep Pat Schumer. Fine, switch to Juju and give me Brett Bertelon. Because otherwise, you saying it's Caden and his numbers say it ain't. His numbers as a 73% passer rating say it ain't him. But everybody knows Pat Schumer's play calling is basic. And guess what? Now the DC is a problem. Now you got basic defensive schemes, and now you got elementary play calling. So really, if you change out Pat Schumer with 3 games left and you still have Rob Livingston, I mean, you trading one set of eggs for another. So you got to get rid of your OC and your DC. So what's the point of putting your young quarterback out there when you could just redshirt him? To let Pat Schumer run him off? Because that's all he's going to do. Because after the last game, that's what we heard. And now miraculously, we get Juju possibly. The real change is Pat Schumer need to go. And now Pat Schumer and Rob Livingston need to go. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if Coach Prime can fire Rob Livingston, because Colorado gave Rob Livingston that contract. And to be honest with you, I'm pissed off at Colorado for that. What the hell made you give him that contract? Unless you just knew that you wanted to replace Coach Prime. And that's why we don't see the AD. Let's just be honest here. We saw the AD a lot. Livingston gets the contract. We don't see him no more. Why would you give Livingston that contract before you give Coach Prime his? So in some respects, Coach Prime should see the writing on the wall. And if that's the case, then protect Juju. Don't put him out there to end up with a 53% passer rating or to get injured because Pat Schumer wants Ryan Staub and everybody else over there, their boosters, that's what they want, because it ain't your choice. They just want to force your hand. Coach Prime was right when he said, I got to protect that kid. You sure do. So I don't know what we expecting here, whether it's in Cleveland with Tommy Rees calling the plays or it's in Colorado with Schumer calling the plays, which ain't nothing but Stefanski. When is that going to change? When is Colorado going to sever its ties from Cleveland? What are we hoping for by putting our Colorado Buffs in the same position as the Cleveland Browns? And we saw how upset Myles Garrett was. So we ought to can kind of guess how upset some of the other players are at Colorado. There are leaders over there, but they ain't dumb either. They know what accountability looks like and they know where it need to come from. They just ain't gonna say it out of respect. So if that's the case, if they just choosing to be respectful when they could, this is social media. They can say what the hell they want to say. If they choosing to be respectful, then let's be respectful back. It said, I think that Pat Schumer is the mole. He is sabotaging both father and son and his link. Yeah, I think so too. I totally agree with that. It appears to me there's a hit out on the black starting quarterbacks. Yeah, 17-32. A hit job. Facts. It said that raggedy Trey Wingo tried to dismiss Shedeur accolades. Who is, I don't even know who that is. I see somebody post that. Yeah, I don't even know who is Trey Wingo is. Said talking, she's the reason he ain't focused. That's a grown woman and been there. Yeah, that don't have nothing to do. Carucci don't have nothing to do with what's going on in Colorado. See, that's what I meant by people want to blame. It's a lot of blame people want to put out there, but people just don't want to admit that's what it is. That's like people that say, Caden is the problem. I'm like, who brought Caden in? And they're like, oh, never mind. Okay, then shh. If you say Pat Schumer need to be fired and then Pat Schumer's still there, oh, it's the player's fault. No, it ain't. Because Coach Prime said we had a team before the season. I believe him. I believe we don't have an offensive coordinator. I believe he tried to get rid of Pat Schumer and something said no. And now Pat Schumer is taking him down and Rob Livingston has joined in. That's what I think. It ain't got nothing to do with Carucci. It's internal politics, just like people said it was when Byron Leftwich left. You got to know how to navigate these things. And again, until it's all said and done, we're going to have this conversation about why it is the OC in DC from Jackson State made it to Colorado but didn't get those jobs. People posted in the comments and said things that they are starting to see that maybe it is true that Coach Prime was only hired away from Jackson State to disrupt what was going on at HBCUs. Because if you think about it, the only problems Coach Prime has had at Colorado has been the OC in the DC. And what people pointed out, in addition to Shedeur caping up, is that the reason why Shedeur and Lewis possibly fell out was because Lewis was trying to tank the team and Shedeur wasn't going for it. So he decided to protect the team and cape up. And that's how he got a back injury. And then they get rid of him. In comes Schumer with the same BS. And Shedeur said, not on my watch. He capes up again and makes it to 9 games. And y'all saw how they punished him in that Alamo Bowl. That kid didn't deserve that. Now that you look back, people are saying it. Hell, his jersey should have been retired twice. So they're saying that there's nobody on the team to cape up like Shedeur did. Should nobody be expected to do that? The moment you realize Pat Schumer was a problem, that should have been it. And for him to be a problem to Shedeur in the draft and to be connected to Stefanski, who over there hurting Shedeur physically, ain't no way he'd be working for me. His ass would be fired. He would have been fired after I heard he said my son was like Daniel Jones. Because even the people on Reddit said, damn, he just said don't hire him. Facts. Now they all can hide their racism behind he's entitled because he called his own plays, or he's entitled because we don't care who your daddy is. But they are racist. That's all it is. They just didn't want him to be number 17 of 32. So they used what was said about Shedeur to hold him back. But there is no justification in a court of law when we get back to normalcy that will be okay with 32 owners humiliating, devaluing, and discriminating against Shedeur Sanders. And they know that. They just think the way things are today, they gonna always be. But y'all know my motto. The way things are today, they may not be tomorrow. And hell, it comes true every day. So to me, Coach Prime just want to ride out with Pat Schumer because his contract is supposedly up. But that's the wrong thing to do. He should have been fired after Georgia Tech. Definitely should have been fired after U of H. That's not the right thing to do. Here's the problem with that. You're going to always be in this situation. One, if you pick your own people and they keep putting people in front of you to choose, they're going to always set you up. That's the only problem Coach Prime has ever had at Colorado, which tells me it's not a mistake. It's not an accident. It's not a coincidence. Why would Pat Schumer be trying to take down Shedeur in year 2? Wasn't he there at the end of year 1, conveniently, to replace the problem, but he becomes the problem? And the problem is supposed to be Shedeur? And then look what happens to him in the draft. And then Pat Schumer still got a job, and now Coach Prime program is being trashed for recruiting prospects, the players on the ground, fans leaving the game early, might not come back next week. That's a lot for Schumer to destroy. Because here's the thing. If his contract is over with, why let him call the last 3 games? You don't ever let the pariah have the reins until the last drip has ring out the towel. You don't do that. When you realize their problem, you take the control from them. If you're going to switch off quarterbacks, you need to switch off offensive coordinators. And it shit sound like you need to switch off OC and DC right now. But maybe Colorado won't allow it. Well, you know what? Ain't no point in putting Juju out there throwing him to the wolves if they finna get rid of you. Or are they going to keep you around and make your life hell for the next year or 2? So they don't have, because they probably don't even want to pay him $47 million and say, go enjoy your life. Because if you pay attention, they try to rob people of the opportunity. So we're going to see what's more important. For Coach Prime to stay there and be visibly present, or for them to find $47 million and boot him out to disrupt his career, destroy his reputation, and deny him the opportunity. That's typically what's more important. It's that they were laughing at CJ and Jaden today. What? Who are you talking about? Let's just wait until Shedeur get in. Yeah, okay, Pat, Mac. I mean, I hate to tell you, but what you want? What you waiting for? What you waiting for? You waiting for Pat Schumer? I'm sorry, did I say Pat Schumer? I meant it. Are you waiting for Stefanski to have a change of heart? What you waiting for? I mean, what are you expecting to be different, Mac? What's gonna be different? This man lied 2 weeks in a row and say Shedeur can't get out there and play because of his back. Why does he need to stop lying? If his whole goal is to hold Shedeur back, then he got something to use. And even if Shedeur get out there and play in a dead of winter, the toughest stretch, games that they think he can't win, what makes you think they're going to let them tick along fairly? Because you hope that they do? See, that's the problem. Be proactive and look for what they're doing to everybody else and know that you ain't no different. So they might do it to you too, and be ready. That's what being big ready is. I see what's going on, and I'm going to try to sidestep all of it. That's how you are big ready. But stop expecting Cleveland to be on the up and up with Shedeur. They ain't been on the up and up the whole way through. Why would they change now? They not. It says as long as Stefanski is the head coach, it says Shedeur shouldn't play. I don't care if Tommy Rees is the play caller. Right, and let's be real. Tommy Rees is not calling his own plays. Tommy Rees is calling Stefanski's game plan. Stefanski is still the head coach. The game plan is put together by Stefanski. He has to agree with it. And then I'm sure Rees can call plays at opportune moments, this, that, and the other. Same old shit. Thank you. Thank you. It said it's crazy because the Haslam kept having private dinners, and then he disowned Shedeur. What was that really about? It was called bait and switch. 420, it's what scammers do. Bait and switch. It's what the Tinder swindler did. Bait and switch, which is illegal, but that's what it is. It's bait and switch. It was so Shedeur could come to the draft to think he gonna get drafted number 2 overall so they can embarrass him on camera for hours like they did Lamar Jackson. Bait and switch. That's all it was. I wouldn't give Cleveland no attention until Shedeur gets in. Facts. Facts. No, I can no. Pat Schumer got to go. Hey, Blind Beauty, how you doing? How you doing? It said, why are they saying CP going to coach in Cleveland? I mean, then maybe it'll make sense, right? I don't know. Maybe people think that because he letting Stefanski. I mean, I keep saying Stefanski, but it's really Pat Schumer, but they really the same people. Um, I don't know. I didn't hear that with my own 2 ears. Let us know where you heard it, and maybe we can kind of tell you what it is. Roland Martin said who these people are. Now, let's Coach Prime one of them too. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know who he vote for, so I don't know. I do not know. It said exactly. And remember, the Colorado and Cleveland has the same playbook. Shedeur has the playbook. We're similar, just tweaked a little bit. Right. And what did Stefanski lie and say? Shedeur not learning the plays. They the same plays from Schumer that likely Shedeur changed. So now, I told you they just sticking it to Shedeur because he changed Pat Schumer's. Understand this. 17-32 is a reality, right? If you ain't out there on the field, they ain't fooling with you. But if you one of these high-profile black quarterbacks that took your team somewhere or they have the potential to take your team somewhere, you're going to get it. Because they don't want you to be around. They don't want 17 to happen. And mind you, we've never seen Jaden Daniels humiliated. But we do see him get hurt. I've never seen CJ Stroud get humiliated. Well, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Pre-draft. They did the same thing to him they did to Lamar. A lot of people don't know about it, but I know about it. Never mind. Bad example. Justin Fields. Oh, bad example. Let's see who else. Jalen Hurts. They don't never humiliate him. They just ignore him, right? They try to discount him, right? I would say Cam Ward, but the noose, wrong thing. Shedeur, nope, try to humiliate him too. Jordan Love. They didn't try to humiliate Jordan Love, right? But now he trash, right? Now he trash because Aaron Rodgers want to come there. And after Aaron Rodgers said that, guess what Pittsburgh says today? Well, Pittsburgh said after that that they sick of Mike Tomlin, who ain't done nothing wrong. And now they giving Aaron Rodgers all of this praise. Oh man, he's exceeded all of these expectations. I said, and those domestic violence allegations from Danica Patrick are still out there and still being ignored. Boop. So they want to act like none of that matters because they all want to kind of let's chase Aaron Rodgers like he the best thing since sliced bread. And because he want to leave, let's fire Mike Tomlin. Excuse me? That's why these black coaches and GMs and they don't need to cape up for these people at all. Just go out there and do your job and that's it. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. See, the problem is Jaden Daniels was trying to win. Jaden Daniels is trying to win when they don't want Jaden Daniels to win. So Jaden Daniels get hurt. And they say it's his fault because it was a run play. Nobody told him to scramble. There you go. Don't cape up for these folks. It says Shedeur's back issue keeps hitting me strongly as a matter of localized internal stress appearing as a spasm. It said, yes, I know he developed the back issue from excessive sacks at CU at his tenure. It could be. It could be. But the point is, I told y'all they was going to exploit that back injury. 2 weeks in a row, it's been exploited. Oh, Shedeur can't get out there. Shedeur can't get out there. Now, remember, some reporter posted that Shedeur, after the bye week, need to play in the Jets game. Boy, Kevin Stefanski came out early. Yeah, his back is getting better, but he's not ready yet. Second week in a row. Let's see what happened next week. Let's see what happened. I told you they was going to exploit that back injury one way or another. It said 9 games left for Cleveland. All right, let's see. So Dylan playing how many? Shedeur going to have 4 out of what, 18? So Dylan going to play 14 games? Okay. Stress-induced back spasms. Stress can trigger back spasms, which are involuntary muscle contractions that cause pain and stiffness in the lower back. Well, the people that set him up in college, they winning then, right? I mean, you're probably right, but they go exploit that. They already doing it. One way or another, on the field, off. I know you got a back injury, so if I have you set up like CJ Stroud, if I have you set up like Jaden Daniels, if I have you set up like Cam Ward, I already know what's going to happen to you. I'm going to shorten your career. Or I could use it to devalue you if you keep getting hurt. One kid that I told y'all about, that played for the Jets, he had to medically retire. And what did he come out and say recently? How nasty the owner was towards him by saying, "Are you ever going to be healthy?" You didn't have to draft him. You drafted him with the intent to make him medically retire by harassing him, talking about he ain't never healthy. The Herndon kid that was in Detroit, they drafted him hurt. Where is he? The DTR, Dorian Thompson Robin, they drafted him out of school hurt. Where is he? Not in the league. 3 years. That's it. That's it. So yeah, that might be what it is, but they exploiting that. If I'm Shedeur, I'm watching film of the last 4 teams the Brown playing this season to get ready. To do what? Okay, how many of y'all think the O-line gonna hold up for Shedeur? Put it in the comments. How many people believe the O-line gonna block for Shedeur in Cleveland? Remember, the O-line he played with in the Panthers game, I don't even think they work there no more. Maybe one guy. Oh, no. And the one guy, it was the one that blew his coverage. Jenkins or something like that. He black, too. Came from Chicago. What Caleb Williams is. I'll be looking in the comments to see who says they believe that the O-line is going to block for Shedeur. All you got to do is look at these other quarterbacks. They don't want to make it. And the same thing is going to happen to Shedeur. These people have a plan. They are on a mission. They're going to exploit whatever just to get rid of you. So you can't sue. And I don't even think they care about that. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, Selmo, how you doing? How you doing? It said mental stress has to find somewhere to lodge or it will often rest already impacted and vulnerable areas in the body. I believe it, Elaine. It said Cowgirls playing soft tonight. Oh, the Cowboy. Interesting. Juju is the future. It says Salter and Stable not good. Let Juju get his reps and prepare for the future at CU with Pat Schumer as the play caller. You think Pat Schumer gonna do right by Juju this time? Let me know. Let me know. It's 60-40 on black and white QBs. They don't want that number to switch, right? And honestly, I don't know how you got to 60-40, but it was half and half. When the season started, it was 16 black starting quarterbacks, 16 white starting quarterbacks. We're not talking about QB 2, 3s, and 4s in practice squad. We're not talking about overall. We're talking about the starters. So when Cam Ward was drafted number 16, it became 16 white starting quarterbacks and 17 black starting quarterbacks. Instead of drafting Shedeur at number 17, they drafted Jackson Dart. Instead of drafting Jalen Milroe at number 18, they drafted Tyler Shaw. So the draft was about manipulating the number of black quarterbacks versus the number of white quarterbacks. The end of season is about manipulating the success of white quarterbacks versus black quarterbacks. So that when I go into the draft and I get the top 5 coming out in the first, second rounds, respectively, right now they're all white. So I'm going to take 2 quarterbacks that are black from this year, whether it's CJ Stroud and Justin Fields, and I'm going to find a way to devalue them out of the QB1 spot. Don't be surprised if somebody end up in Cleveland. That way, I'm going to elevate and I'll have, instead of half and half, it'll be more like 18 or 19 or 20 white starting quarterbacks versus black starting quarterbacks. That's the goal. And they're going to be working on that as long as they can work on it. And they're not making no apologies. They don't care what you think. And all they know is you're going to watch it on TV, so it don't matter. And they're right. People still watch the games on TV, even though they know what's happening. It said Kaepernick hooked people on game about the NFL and no one supported him. Right. And what's happening now? They see it for themselves with Shedeur, somebody that they came into the league with. And what's happening? You still watching the game. They see what's happening. It's just they feel like, I think a lot of people want to push back on what's really happening so they can keep enjoying football. But here's the thing. You could push back on it, but that don't mean it ain't rigged. Like I said, the NBA ain't the only league that's rigged. In fact, they both have gambling betting partners, right? They not even out here rigging it for the bets in the NFL. They rigging it for whiteness. To talk about Josh Allen as MVP, really? You already robbed Lamar Jackson. Now you're gonna rob Jalen Hurts. They don't care. Because they like, as long as people keep watching and I keep getting that check for $452 million. I'm like, it just ain't enough people to just be sick and tired of it and turned off by it and to go watch something else. It's too many people keeping it going because, it benefits them. So that's what it is. That's what it is. I just don't know. I didn't lose a dime on this game. Okay, Selmo. I wish they would cut him so he could go to the Canadian League before they destroy him. All right, let's talk about that. That's jumping out of the fire into the frying pan. All right. Warren Moon went to Canada for how many years? 6 years, and it came back to the States, and they still treating black quarterbacks the same way in the NFL. That ain't the answer. Start your own league. Why you got to lean on Canada? Why does they have to be the NFL? Why y'all who are just the talent, the people that the NFL feel like they need? Why is it that you can't just start your own? In the streaming era, it's too simple. It's too simple in the streaming era. And now that they out here digging in the dirt, they don't even care. Because they know if you don't watch it, I got a lot of people that will. And they're right. That's why it's not going to change unless some natural disaster forces it to change. So that's just, it is what it is. They over here talking about in the comments talking about how Dak Prescott getting sacked like crazy. I told y'all they weaponize those sacks against those quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It said, now how is it that the shoulder of Junkins is better in 1 week, but Shedeur Sanders is hurt? Make it make sense. I told you they're gonna exploit that back injury. They'd have figured out a way to exploit it now and into the future. He's talking about Junkins is now healthy to play because they know they need him to play. All these teams with sorry quarterbacks need a running back to turn the game over to. The NFL obviously has a plan to do dirty to all these black quarterbacks. I told my dad earlier today that the NFL is willing to lose games and fan support. Right. See, here's the thing. They don't believe they're going to lose fan support. They don't. And they might be right because I've seen some of the people at the games. I'm like, they diehards, right? There are people who have been supporting the Dallas Cowboys and they ain't won nothing in how long? How long? And that's what the owners, that's why I think the owners, first of all, they all know each other, right? All of these people in this billionaire space all know each other. It's very thin air, right? And I believe they went and got Haslam and said, because he was already in the diesel business. So all of these people in the fuel, oil and gas, natural energy business. Hey, you know what? You could buy the Cleveland Browns and you could get it to this, that, and the other, And here we are. It happened. And in 2023, he ends up buying Pure Energy, a company, a natural gas company, a natural energy company, and they got 3,400 wells. They don't care about this football thing. This is just power, influence, and helping a certain ideology to be pushed forward and controlled. That's it. It's almost like you're doing your civic duty to buy an NFL team, especially if you have the same ideology as the president or some of these other people out here. Right? If you're one of those people and you have the billions, they're going to find a way for you to get in, but they've never found a way for Magic Johnson to get in. Never found a way for Jay-Z to get in, for LeBron to get in, even turn down Steph Curry. Because they have an ideology they want to push forward. And that's why I said, just start your own. When you get to that point, and I think it's going to get worse and worse until somebody go start their own. Now, I even said it. You would think Coach Prime, after what happened to Shiloh, after what's happening to Shedeur, now what's happening to his program, You would think he'd be like, you know what, fine, buy me out. I'm gonna take this $44 million and go start my own. He don't even need $4 million to start his own. He need 22 people to line up across from each other and stream the damn game. That's it. Destroying was this close, and I think they got to him. When they asked him to be a mascot, it was asked after they invited him to the flag football game in London. After that, they asked him to be a mascot for a day in Jacksonville. He posted on his page, is this the end of one-on-ones? That he started a 3-on-3 league with Cam. I'm like, you was this close. You was this close. But that's what they do. Flash the money. That's all you got to do. Whether you got money or not, that's it. Power. They make you believe that you're going to get power and influence. When they invite you to be a mascot and you have football skills, you already in a pro league, why couldn't you kick for this one? It's only one black kicker in the NFL. He could have been number 2. They didn't ask him to come kick for a day. They didn't invite him to camp. I bet if he'd have started that league, they would have, though. But because he was close, well, let's ask him to be a mascot for a day. Let's invite him to the flag football game in London. Make him feel that he one of us. He was this close. Coach, they know Coach Prime can do it. They also know that Coach Prime probably, let me see how I'm going to say this. Somebody knows that leaving Shermer at CU and tearing down the program puts Coach Prime over a barrel. But what is the leverage that they have to keep him aligned with Pat Schumer and turning against his own team? Is it Shedeur? Because Shiloh gone. Not a connection, not a coincidence that Stefanski and Pat Schumer. It's not. You can't even ignore that. You'd be crazy to ignore that they could be texting each other. Is this the week or is this the week? Should we push Shedeur out there? Nah, just wait a minute. Until Schumer gets his way with Staub. And you see Staub got in that game before Juju, and then you heard Juju might be gone, and now Juju might be the starter. So that's politics, people. Somebody is pulling the strings. So let's see how long Shedeur back is a problem for the team, not Shedeur, the team. That's why I looked at the calendar to see when Shedeur is expected to play in the last 4 games and when Coach Prime's season ends. Because see, once Coach Prime's season ends, that should be it, right? There should be no more leverage because why? Pat Schumer's contract is gone. So what else is there to do? We'll see. You can't ignore that connection. That's the only one you should be paying attention to. It said, I don't think Cleveland has the proper strength and conditioning. Too many injuries. I think them injuries is fake too. I do. I think a lot of their injuries are fake, and that's also fraud. That's another problem. That's just it. It said they have to keep the game rigged, so they keep their servants in various positions in the sports space in order to have faces representing the NFL. Actually, you know what? It's not even about that. It's about keeping a product on the field that can generate me $452 million in TV revenue. That's what it's about. And because that's all it's about, it's okay if I rig it. Because it ain't really about who win or lose. If it's really about just having a product on the field, 32 teams playing off against each other, 16 football games, week in and week out. If that's all it's about, then why can't I meddle with it? I might as well get some out of it. I might as well control who it is and not let it be natural selection. Because if it's natural selection, I know it's going to go to the black people. And I've been working on that so hard at the quarterback space that I'll be damned if I let it happen in the draft. And Shedeur was number 17, but he didn't have to be. Common sense says if Tommy Rees is the OC and he came from Alabama and was Jalen Milroe's, either head coach or OC, it should have been Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe should have been number 7. It could have been Cam Ward. Because remember, Tennessee didn't want that pick. It had to be Shedeur because If I say he entitled, what am I saying, right? He's entitled because of blah, blah, blah. We don't care who your daddy is. Your daddy becomes the scapegoat. You can't make Jalen Milroe's daddy the scapegoat. You couldn't make Cam Ward's daddy the scapegoat. You couldn't. The story, the lie only worked with Shedeur. And then the matter of what team he goes to, they already knew where he was going when he was the number one kid in the country. October of 2024, Shedeur was number one, predicted to be the first round QB, but they couldn't let him get on that Heisman stage because that ain't going to work with the plan to send him to Cleveland and to say he ain't good, that his skills are outdated. How could he be on a Heisman stage and his skills are outdated? But Dylan being on a Heisman stage, it worked for him. It increased his draft stock, but he ain't good. But I just needed Dylan in front of Shedeur. That's it. They just need a product on the field that you're going to watch on TV so they can get $400 million each. They don't care about none of that. That's it. That's it. Mike Vick did it, clean house. What you talking about? It said Prime needs Shedeur for a trade to Dak Prescott. And here's the funny thing, right? People were saying, you know, how we had that conversation about Dallas, right? That Shedeur could end up in Dallas. I told y'all one day Jerry Jones was just gonna call up and be like, "Hey, Prime, how you doing?" Out the blue, just out the blue, and he could seemingly rescue Shedeur, right? Because he got Joe Milton over there, but he got Joe Milton to block having to draft Shedeur. What did he say? I already have quarterback. I don't need a quarterback. Is Joe Milton gonna take over at QB1 for that? So they're gonna let a 6th-round QB take over for a 1st-round QB, but Shedeur can't take over for Dylan when they losing? See how that works? You see? Yep, that's it. That's it. When the fans realize, when the fans realize that it's rigged and stop watching it on TV, then that's gonna be the beginning of the end. Because the TV is what they care about. That's just what it is. I think so. I believe they really want to ball with Shedeur when they don't like you. When they don't like you, they won't black you. They won't block you for Shedeur. They won't block you. Shedeur appreciate his defense, and he want to change the offense to complement the defense. They're not letting Shedeur change a goddamn thing. Again, go watch Roland Martin's TikTok. He told you who these people are. Haslam called one of his executives Obama the whole time he worked there, a black Harvard grad, and he didn't like Obama. Let's see if the next GM is black. Don't be surprised if it's not. Pat gonna run the same offense. There you go. CJ, it says CU has no run game, and that's a problem. Yeah, I thought they had one this year. What happened to it? Prime should have went South Florida. He might get his chance. After Justin Fields was sacked so many times against Cleveland when he was with the Bears, he was never the same. No, I think he is seeing ghosts. I don't see how he could be. And it's not just him. What did y'all say that's happening to Dak? That's how they, and it's funny. They would never. They would, I don't even know a white quarterback that they treat like that. If you white and you get sacked excessively because you're not good. They not out here trying to punish you. They're not out here trying to hurt you to get you the hell out the way or to make your medical guarantees void or something. I don't know. But that's what they use against these black quarterbacks. It's excessive sacks. It can't be healthy for you. I'm sorry, it just can't be, to the point where they wanted Tua to retire behind it. I told y'all Tua was trolling because somebody tied Tua into a contract to 2027 and it was 2024. They were trying to get him to medically retire. And he said no. Mind Shift Athlete said, I came across an old clip of a reporter that backs up what you have been saying about black QBs and coaches. I would like to share the link if I can. If you can, you can. I don't think it's a problem. You should be able to. It said Prime should have stayed at Jackson, but they stealing. It said, but South Florida was ready. Are you talking about USF? Jalen Hurts for MVP is funny. I don't know why, because the damn show ain't no damn Josh Allen. What the hell did he do? Oh, they want to give Josh Allen MVP because he beat Pat Mahomes in the Chiefs. I told y'all they was done with Pat Mahomes. They made him climb his way out that conference. Prime is too lenient with his coaches. He should have find the offensive defensive coordinator after the Stanford game in the first season. Isn't that? I think he did. Those are different people, right? Those are different people. Here's what I do know. Yes, somebody gonna write a tell-all book. What I do know is when we played Wyoming, a former Colorado coach who I didn't know he was over there, the running back coach, don't even remember his name. He said there was no accountability over there. We're seeing that right now. And that's not good. That makes chaos. If y'all remember who the coach was for Wyoming, that coach for Colorado when we played them, when he said that, people thought he was being salty. And now we're seeing it play out. We're seeing it materialize. There's no accountability. The accountability is just to yell at the kids. The accountability is to change quarterbacks, and ain't none of them ready. It should be to fire the OC and the DC, but everybody seemed to be scared of them, and I don't know why. You would think they were the bosses. Okay, Selmo, whatever. It said, I think they will because he's going through. It said Colorado not even recruiting the number one offensive line at CU. Alabama already offered him. What are we going to recruit him for? He ain't coming there. Bro, we just lost the number one QB coming out next year. We are about to lose the number one QB that was supposed to come out this year. We already got quarterbacks on the ground and we finna lose because we didn't hold Pat Schumer accountable. The locker room is the line. The line is it. It said making these owners wealthier, spending their hard-earned money. Yep. It's just sad. It said, the saying, everyone has a price. That's what it seemed like. It said the Nails messed everything up via Nick Saban. What happened with Nick Saban? Oh, NIL. Somebody said something about he was going to end up at LSU because he's alumni. He went to LSU. Something about Nick Saban said he ain't worried about no committee because I'm LSU alum. So maybe it's a possibility he end up at LSU because they don't have a president, a AD, or a coach. And something about Saban say he ain't worried about no committee. With a $45 million cash out, they can start up their own league, prime time, like Ice Cube did. Yep, and stream it or Twitch it online. Right, stream in any capacity. It don't matter, Twitch, YouTube, or whatever. Right now, Cleveland has had more popularity than they've ever had. Right, and somebody put out an AI video with Colorado. It was an AI video. I don't know if y'all saw it. It was supposed to be Colorado with the stands all empty. And it was 3 people standing around saying, well, we wanted Prime gone and now he gone and we back to irrelevancy. Same thing for Cleveland. When Shedeur gone, I mean, they going to still show up though. They going to still show up. That's the thing about Cleveland. Don't forget the deadline is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a trade. People said they thought Njoku was going to be traded. It don't matter. It don't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Coach Flea. That's who it was. It was Coach Flea. Yep. So Coach Flea, did Coach Flea coach at Jackson State? Coach Flea was the one who said there's no accountability at Colorado. That's who said that. And now we're seeing it play out, right? So we started off by saying, Jada Daniels getting injured. I said they were going to screw him over his sophomore year, just like they screwed over CJ Stroud. Just like they're going to screw over Cam Ward his sophomore year. I said why. 17-32. The football games are just a product to keep on the field, so y'all they can keep making money off of TV deals. The TV deals mean everything. They don't even care about the gate receipts. That's nice to have, but that $452 million check because of TV rights, that's what they want. And even the NBA, they're now the same way because they have all these partnerships with Amazon and all of these other networks, which is why you got a hopscotch all over the place to watch the games. And then YouTube TV is throwing off ESPN. I don't really care, right? They're talking about you're not going to be able to watch First Take. I mean, I think Stephen A. lost a lot of people, right? So they wanted people to go fight for ESPN to be on YouTube. I don't give a damn about ESPN being on YouTube, to be honest with you. And you would think that it will be harder to watch the games. I don't even think they care if you watch. I think they got to keep a product on the field so the likes of Amazon can pay them the money that they make, rain or shine. You're going to get out there and play some football because these people paying us for it. That's the money that they live for. Not a moment that the advertisers, the betting partners, and the sponsors and the TV people decide we're not interested, then maybe. Then maybe. But as long as that interest from media companies keeps the NFL on TV, they don't care what happens on the field. They can use it to their own liking. That's why they feel like, oh, hell, we don't have to care about talent no more now. We getting paid regardless. That Amazon money is different. Thank you. It was Coach Fleet. Thank you so much. It said that's not going to happen. It said Coach Prime is tied to the NFL. He will not start a new league. How is Coach Prime tied to the NFL after that draft? See, that's why I said people don't be paying attention. What did you watch the draft? I'm like, no, because if Coach Prime was tied to the NFL, they would have never kicked out Shiloh like that. They might have fined him. They might have suspended him. I think they might have just fined him. No, they are all but telling you. Now, if Coach Prime wasn't the head coach at Colorado, they might not care. But Shiloh coming in, Shedeur coming in, we have 14 players to make it to the league. They don't want that. 3 black quarterbacks. At a time they trying to reduce. They trying to rig on the college side who comes out as quarterback by running through the Manning Passing Academy. They don't want that. They want to be the ones in control. They don't want Coach Prime feeling like he have no control. And I personally think that's why they are trying to send him a message, right? And again, I don't know how Pat Schumer got there, but the people that recommended Schumer and Schumer himself, they were all coaches, head coaches. Coach Prime was a player. They don't look at themselves and Coach Prime as the same. I feel like they did all that running out there to see you, knowing that they was going to take down Shedeur in the program all at the same time. And for to say Travis got a hurt knee, he going to miss 4 weeks, but we got to figure out what's wrong with his knee. How the hell you know he going to miss at least 4 weeks? I don't know what the hell going on over there, but they won without him. So I don't know. I don't know what his contract say. I know ever since he signed that, got his signing bonus up front and asked for it up front, and went fishing with Coach Prime and got it. I swear, ever since then, they've been trying to say he a bust. They've been trying to not let him play on both sides like they said. Coach Prime said he wasn't playing enough. Then they try to say Coach Prime didn't develop him. And the next thing you know, he didn't say nothing about that. He got baptized, and now he out for 4 weeks until they find out what's wrong with his knee. You tell me it ain't something finagling going over there in Jacksonville. I don't know what they mad about. I don't know if it's because he got baptized or because he asked for his $30 million and went fishing with Coach Prime. I'm not sure. But the point is they think he in control. And they don't like people who seemingly turn their lives over to God, because that means we can't control you. That's what it gives. If you say out loud that, you putting all your faith in God and you don't worry about it, like Justin Fields, like Shedeur, like Travis, all 3 of them in the same boat. It's like they don't like that. It's like when they get black players, they want to be able to tap into their mind. They don't treat the white players like that. This is beyond submission. MVP to a dude who threw 17 yards and a half. I know if you must be talking about Josh Allen, right? Because I don't know why you supporting that. So that's just what it is, guys. That's just what it is. These black quarterbacks, they on the attack. The 16, we ain't worry about the ones that don't get out there because the whole point of them being paired behind another black quarterback is so they don't get out there. But when the elite ones make it to the QB1 and they get in the game, that I mean, you just name them all. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. It's like everybody is in some situation to where they're made to look like they're not good. And the only person they was speaking highly favorably of, now he trash. And that was because Aaron Rodgers said he wanted to retire in Green Bay one more season. This season was supposed to be his last season, but now he's supposedly exceeding expectations. It's crazy how they wanted to kick out Mike Tomlin because of Aaron Rodgers. They held back Shedeur because of Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, this man has been accused of domestic violence, and y'all want to move the earth, the moon, and the sun for him. For what? So you don't have to be a good person. That's what it is. You don't have to be a good person. So Bryce Young won, but people wanted the other guy to get in. Caleb Williams, they paid his backup $10 million. So maybe they're gonna press pause on hating on him. So they just switched it over to Jaden Daniels. I don't know. Cam Ward, po Cam. That's all I could say. CJ Stroud, I hope he retire. Get your money and get the hell on. Dak Prescott, get your money and get the hell on. Geno Smith, get your money and get the hell on. Jalen Hurts, he probably already know he gonna get his money and get the hell on. Jaden Daniels, get your money and get the hell on. Who is that? Jordan Love, you too. Get your money. Because, see, he was the golden boy when the season started, when they came to Cleveland. Oh, they probably going to win the Super Bowl. But then Cleveland beats Green Bay. And now they lost to somebody else. I don't know who it was. Now he trash. Justin Fields, get your money and get the hell on. Kyler Murray, same thing. Get your money and get the hell on. Lamar, get your money and get the hell on. They're not going to never let you win nothing. Only if ain't nobody watching TV no more, they're gonna come back crying. Hey, can you come play for me again? Yeah, that's the only way they're gonna show you any kind of respect is when they desperate and they need you. But if they feel like they don't need you, Michael Penix Jr., get your money and get the hell on because I know you've seen enough. Who is that? Pat Mahomes. Come on now. Come on now. I think Pat Mahomes know exactly what time it is. Get your money and get the hell on. Russell Wilson, you know what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do. Spencer Rattler, I know you know what to do. And I think Spencer Rattler been talking to Russ. Both of y'all, get y'all money and get the hell on. None of these guys are appreciated. Not now one of them. Jalen Hurts is probably headed back to the Super Bowl despite them trying to tear the team apart. And they want to give Josh Allen the MVP. Now that people are talking the truth about the Colts, that is not Daniel Jones. That is the running back Taylor that's doing all the work. I don't hear no more about him being MVP. Now that Taylor has entered the conversation, now it's got to go to Josh Allen. The MVP is a quarterback award as long as the quarterbacks are white. But you let this number grow with one more with Shedeur. 18, Jalen Milroe. 19, Castellanos. 20, Sellers. 21, Dante Moore. It ain't going to be a QB award no more. So that's it, guys. That's what it is. So, it remains to be seen. I guess we're going to have to go all the way back to Saturday for Colorado against West Virginia. I made a thumbnail for it. Let's see. I'll put it up here. I root for the kids. Just like I root for the players. And you know what's funny? I don't even find myself watching football like that. I think it's Shedeur, Jimmy, Travis is out. Cam is on the practice squad. I don't ever see Arizona that much. BJ Green, I don't know if he's playing or not. I mean, sometimes I think he is playing, so I don't really know. But I don't even watch it. Like, I can't because I know it's rigged. I know what they doing. I see clearly that they, it's not like they like, oh, let's have real competition. No, they trying to hurt these black quarterbacks. I'm not with that. I'm not with that. And I feel like the players for the longest have been, it's about the money for them. I don't know. I guess maybe this group gonna have to get old first and realize that all money ain't good money. right? When you could just do what? You could just start your own league. It don't make no sense. And maybe they scared, maybe they scared. You can't say you don't have an audience. They said that 47,000 people showed up to watch Norfolk State versus Delaware State. Now, who you think was in that 47%? That 47,000 people. The $1 million raised from the ticket sales and all of the whatever from the game, the ticket sales went to the schools. So if that can happen, how can you not? How can just these quarterbacks alone, each of them, not find 22 people? Oh, I'm sorry, 12. They say 20. Everybody get 20 people because you might need some reserves. And y'all play against each other. That 16 people is evenly matched. Throw Shedeur and Milrow in there. Let them get somebody. Then get the other 2 people coming out of school next year. Let them get somebody. That's your league right there. Even if all of y'all had the bare minimum of 12, you still can play each other. You still can stream it. If they don't want you to stream it on YouTube, they're streaming on Twitch because they ain't gonna turn you down. They don't have them kind of relationships like that. The point is, how can you not do it at this point? And even if you coming out of college and you see what's happening in the NFL, use your NIL. Y'all don't even need a lot of money to do this. You need more effort to get to the location to play together than you do to stream it. Everybody got a camera. But to constantly allow people to bully you, because they're being bullied, allowing all 16 quarterbacks to be bullied. And people going to say, well, they make a lot of money. That's no reason to dehumanize people. Just because I make a lot of money does not give you the right to dehumanize me. Josh Allen make a lot of money. They don't dehumanize him. They give him things he didn't even earn. Just so it don't fall into the hands of one of the black quarterbacks. They're being bullied. Black quarterbacks have been bullied. But this 16 of 32, they are being bullied. And Shedeur Sanders was bullied the hardest because he was number 17. The day the media start talking about that, then we getting somewhere. But the media is bought and paid for. And as you can see, there are certain podcasters out here that are now bought and paid for. So we're going to get out of here. It is what it is, right? Start your own league. And if you watching this or you know about this, stop watching on TV because that's what they care about. That's what they want you to do. They don't care if you don't show up to the stadium. As long as that check keep rolling in from this game being on televised, that's all they care about. So, hashtag turn the TV off. Just like Kendrick Lamar said at the halftime show last year. And he's right. Go find something else to do. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Friday, members only podcast. Ain't no telling what it's going to be about. Ain't no telling what's going to happen between now and then. And believe me, I already got some topics that we haven't discussed yet. So that's Friday at 6 o'clock, and I'll be on Patreon this week. I already posted on there yesterday, so I'll be headed over there too. So, yeah, I'll see y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just gonna have to wait and see what God do next. That's it. Either in Cleveland with Shedeur or Colorado with the Buffaloes. We just gonna have to wait and see because we don't know. All right, y'all. We wish everybody the best, and we hope everybody make good decisions. Good night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thanks, everybody. Hit the like button on your way out, and don't forget to subscribe.